Little picking lesson today. This is all right hand mechanic stuff. I'm going to base it around some ideas of Paul Gilbert, or that I've pinched from Paul Gilbert. One of them is the infamous Paul Gilbert lick, but I'm going to show you a different twist on that with something that I've sort of lifted from Gambale and one or two others. We're going to start with a lick that he did at the beginning of Barber O'Reilly. Now this one really confused me and I struggled like mad with this until I made a revelation that I'm going to share with you in a second. The lick is this. I know this lick looks fairly simple on the surface, but once you get the mechanics of the picking down, then it starts to open some real doors up for you. And if you look at all the masters of shred, it's all about the picking mechanics. So work on the basics here in this exercise and in the next one, and you will make big strides forward. I promise you. The left hand is a doddle really. It's just a broken power chord. It's an E power chord, and it's an E there, a B, and an E an octave higher, and then back down again. So there, 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 and there. Okay, and that's it. The magic in this one comes from the right hand, and it's the right hand that makes it all work. So you've got two notes on each string. Now if you get the right hand wrong, it ends up being a disaster, and that's how I was playing it for a long time. But watch. Can you see what I'm doing with this hand? I'll show you. We'll zoom in a bit further. If you look at the right hand, I'll use a purple pick so you can see it a little bit better. If you look at the right hand, what I'm actually doing is not alternate picking that way. I'm alternate picking by going in and out and in and out. I'm going to show you that bit now, and then the second half of the lesson we're going to expand on it a lot further and show you some things you can do with scales and all sorts of stuff with just that idea. So the key is that you need to go in and out. If you've watched Troy Grady's videos, he does a lot of stuff and talks about pick slanting, which is the angle that your pick moves. Okay, not the angle it leans, but the angle it moves. And in this case, what we have to do is move from out to in, not across or up and down or any other way. We're going from out to in. I'm going to put that down because I hate it. So we are going to go in, out, then change strings, in, out, then change strings, in, out, and back down again. If you try and do it that way, you end up trapped between those two strings and can't get to that one. Watch. Purple pick again so you can see. I'll exaggerate that. You're going to go, if you do that, you are trapped between there and can't get to that string. Then you're trapped and can't get to there. Okay? So you go in and out like that. Obviously I'm making some very exaggerated movements there, but I'm doing that just to make it clear. So when you put it together, you get a movement that's like in and out all the time. Now applying that to other things, let's have a look at trying it on a pentatonic scale. We can take a simple pentatonic, let's go in B minor because it's just in a nice spot for the camera. And if we take that 2 note per string idea and do that, the picking is what we've just done. In, out, in, out. So you can take that pattern, move it around, move it up and down, move it across the strings. Then you can think, well, okay, let's try it across a 3-string group. Maybe you could say to yourself, okay, instead of going downwards, I could go upwards. Then you can start thinking about 3 per string scales, but playing an even number of notes on them, playing 4, 6, 8 notes on one string. As long as you've got that even number of notes, you can escape and get to the next string really, really efficiently and without getting stuck and trapped and tripping over yourself. Watch. Here's a little pattern. Notice there's 8 notes in the pattern. And then we're going to move it to the next string. And the next string. So you put it together and you get that lick in particular was a real revelation for me. That, to quote Michelangelo Bertio, was my keys to the Ferrari. Once I had that one down, it really started to open things up for me. Before I show you the second lick, which is really good and probably better than the last one, and that's not just a taster to keep you watching, but I need to ask you a quick question. I've just got a new camera and I need you to tell me, does this one look as good or better than the camera that I used on my other videos? The one I've got is called the Osbot Tail Air. They've sent it to me because they want some people to figure out whether it's going to be useful for people like me who do videos, who stream, that kind of thing. Well, this is one of those horrible sponsor bits, but we make no money on YouTube and I do really need to know if the camera's better. So here's the thing. It's what's called a PTZ camera and it can be programmed with multiple shots. So instead of having to refocus and reframe the shot or move the camera, I can just hit a little hotkey on a desktop, on my mobile phone, or I can use this little remote control, and that saves me so much time because look, I can just flick from one shot. There's my guitar shot, there's my right hand shot, and then there is my back to my face shot. But it saves me so much time shooting because I don't have to move things, but when I'm editing, everything's already reframed, so I don't have to start cutting things down and messing about. All I need to do is to plop one video into my editor and cut out all the fluffs and swear words and all the mistakes before I export it. Okay. The bonuses, really, I can set the brightness, contrast, all of those things whilst looking at my computer monitor so I can see exactly what I'm going to get rather than looking at the back of a camera. Then it records directly to the computer, so there's no messing about with SD cards or all that kind of business. The big question is, does it look better than my Sony? To be honest, I think it might do. Links below if you want to see more information about it, and if you do want one, then please use my link because we make no money on YouTube. Okay? And does anybody want to buy my Sony? The second lick is this one. This is the Paul Gilbert lick, and it goes something like this. Watch carefully. Cool lick. There are two ways of doing it and two lessons to be learned from it, if you like. The first thing we're going to do is the basic version. So we're going to look at what the lick is first. We're just starting on this string. We're going to play B, C, D, E, D, C, B. So upwards and back down again. Okay, two strings, 6 notes. At that speed, it's okay. When you start to build up the speed, it gets tricky. Now, let's look at the right hand. There is a school of thought that we've just done where you go in and out like that. Watch what happens if I do that. We'll start down, going in, out, in. Can you see how now I'm trapped? If I exaggerate that, in, out, in. I'm trapped between those two strings, so I can't get the upstroke on there. So slanting your pick that way, when starting with a downstroke, doesn't work. You have to slant it that way. Watch. Get some light on that. You're going to go out, in, out, and then you can get to that note. However, when you get to that note, you then become stuck again. So watch. This is the trick. Again, I'm not holding my pick properly, I'm just doing it so you can see. So we're going to start with that. Remember, we're going out to in, out, and then we do a little turn there to get that one, and then we've got our pick in position to do the next bit. So it's all about that little turn of the wrist. Think about it like this. Your wrist moves either that way, laterally, or it can turn to pick a note. So most of the time you're going to be moving it laterally, but that one you do a little turn, and then on the way back down you reset. Get it? Practice it like that. When you've got it like that, then we're going to look at the other way of doing it, and this is the one I nicked from Frank Gambale. And what he does, he starts it, watch, on an upstroke. And when you do it on an upstroke, you can do the slanting downwards, up, down, up, and you get get to that note there. Again, you're going to get stuck because it's an even number of notes on one string. But what you do this time, you do up, down, up, and then you do your turn there. Close up, starting on an upstroke. Using them both is useful because if you decide instead of starting on that string, you want to start on that string, and you start that string with a downstroke, you're doing that second version, look. That note will be a down. Practice all the combinations and all the ways around of doing it. It's a really useful exercise when you can do it on one string. Move it across different strings. Move it downwards, move it up and down, move it laterally, anywhere you like, but keep moving it, practice it slowly and get it precise. Okay, hope that lesson was useful to you. Tell me what you think of my new camera. Is it good compared to my other videos? If you haven't seen one of my other videos, there's some links up there. How slick was that?